All right, all right. Hello, hello. Happy Monday morning. I don't know of a better two people to start your Monday with than me and Eric. We are a lot of energy coming at you this morning. So, welcome everybody in social media land, YouTube land, all of those things. We are really going to be talking about some of the things that contractors do that I call it the dumbest mistakes. And I felt bad after I did that because I thought, dumb is a strong word. Innocent mistakes, maybe, is a better way to say it until y'all keep doing it, even though we've told you not to do it. Then it becomes dumb. What do you think, Eric?
I think some of them are pretty dumb.
Just dumb in general.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I come from a home service background. So, my family owned and operated a heating, cooling, and now plumbing company, owns actively. And also, my sister and brother in law and my husband work at our family's pest control company. I have part ownership in a roofing company. And I work with contractors every single day. It is wild to me, some of the things that I see um, happening. And I'm like, man, there's so much for me to cover with everyone, but I know what they need to do. It's just a matter of getting them to do it. So, Eric,
Yeah.
tell everybody a little bit about yourself and then we'll kind of jump into content today.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat with the social media land. My name's Eric Thomas. I'm the founder and president of Rival Digital. We are one of way too many digital marketing agencies in the world,
Sure.
uh, but we're probably the only ones that you know of that have upside down hats.
True.
So, yeah.
True, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and
And
listen, we would love for people to comment and let us know where you're watching us from. I see a lot of you are joining. So back to you, Eric. I'm sorry.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Comment. I was talking about Red Robin. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really passionate about all things marketing in the trades, digital marketing, traditional advertising, any of that good stuff. I love talking about it, messaging, branding, all good things. I wrote a book called The Home Advantage, and that is being printed as we speak.
Mm,
It might actually be delivered today. So that could be exciting, at least the first round of like hard copies. So
yes.
yeah, so I'll have that save the date like pre-sale type deal going out probably on Facebook. Hopefully this week, kind of announcing when that'll be done, so folks can get that. And I'm super excited for that. Host a podcast called The Trademark with our good friend Sarah. We do that. It's a weekly show. A lot of good times on there. And yeah, I'm
Cool.
just kind of a marketing dude, just trying to have fun.
Yes, yes, with 2 little kids in the house.
Yeah, yeah. Two little kids. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So, again, I'm Crystal Williams, the co-founder and lead strategist at Lemon Seed Marketing. And just so everyone knows, Lemon Seed Marketing is not a digital agency. Therefore, we work with Eric on some mutual clients and enjoy that relationship a lot. And so, Lemon Seed is designed to be brand strategist, meaning we help you build a full strategy about how to grow your brand and then how to do advertising with it. And it is definitely that time of the year for us to start worrying. I use worrying because contractors can't help it, but worrying about what you're going to do in 2026 and planning. And so the fall time is a great time to not take your eye off the ball for what you're going to do during the shoulder season for those of y'all that have one. But also looking ahead to 2026, and we would love to help you out. So at any point, you can drop your email. You can email us at hello@lemonseedmarketing.com, and we're happy to jump on a call and support you there. So today, Eric and I are really excited because we like to just have this fun banter back and forth, and he and I can really get going about mistakes that we think that contractors make that is so detrimental to their overall growth. Now, he and I both sit on the marketing side of uh of growing a business. So I think there's three ways that people can grow a business. One of them is going to be being priced correctly and efficiently. So most of you probably need to take a price increase, even if it's a small one. No one would even know it. You'd automatically make up some revenue. The other one is operational excellence. So lead generation style companies like Eric's company and like Lemon Seed, Rival Digital and Lemon Seed, we are designed to drive more business to you. But what you do with it once the phone rings or once the chat goes off or once the form fill comes in, we can't help that part other than just giving you guidance. But the third thing that you can do to grow your business is definitely marketing. And so I'll hurt feelings first. Most of the people that I talk to that are coming on board with Lemon Seed, they're spending 2 to 3% in marketing and wondering why people are just running over the top of them. Like, man, where did this new company come from? They're just all over the place. And I feel like they're just come out of nowhere. And I'm like, well, odds are they just really got serious about marketing budget. Eric, do y'all have a lot of conversations about that with your contractors?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We often talk about just budget in general with contractors because especially like the ones we've been working with for a long time, because it's pretty easy to like kind of set your different providers and partners in place and just kind of hope that they can just kind of stay there forever. But as your business grows, the spend needs to grow as well as the I guess the investment in marketing needs to grow. And we hear it all the time where folks are like, I've never like this company just started like 6 months ago. They came out of nowhere. And it's like, well, they're probably spending more money than you.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I will shock people. So like when my sister and my brother and I started the pest control company, I was like, okay, we need 14% in marketing. And so we set $1 million goal and we want to do before we sold the first pest control contract. We were like, we're going to spend 14%. And that's not easy to do. It was very scary, but we've done this. We are no stranger to the game here. And so we knew if we could just grin and bear it through 6 months of going hard and heavy on building a brand, getting a website, doing social media, getting our yard signs done, wrapping our vehicles, getting everybody in a uniform, we were going to be miles ahead. And literally, we did our ribbon cutting when we finally got a small little office location just to help Google Business Profile. When we did that, we had two of the other companies in our town show up, and one of them was like, "I feel like y'all blew up overnight," and I'm like, "It 1000% was not overnight, right?" But
yeah.
it just was. We literally we bulldozed the competition just because we were intentional and we were aggressive out of the gate. But it is a little scary. So, I honestly I'll say this, and Eric might have a little slightly different opinion, but I would tell you to go get your whatever your revenue goal is going to be for next year. So for 2026, what's your revenue goal going to be? What are you hoping to get to? And then what are you currently spending in marketing? Odds are it's less than 5%. Would you agree, Eric? I think that's pretty
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
If you want to grow by more than 10%, I would encourage you to try to get closer to 10, if not 12%. And people
Hmm.
are going to be like, what is going on? What? Why would you do that? You're overspending. And you just look at them and say, okay. And then you blow right past them in 6 months.
Yeah.
So what do you think about those numbers, Eric?
No, I think that's totally true. I think something that you mentioned is a very common challenge that folks have with this is that it's scary. Like it's scary to think, okay, I'm going to spend 10% of my goal, not what I did last year, but 10% of my goal
Hmm.
this year to hit that goal. And when you look at it, like when you zoom out and look at a 12-month approach, it's like, oh gosh, that's like, if it's 10% of, $2 million, like that's a lot of money to spend. Like I don't
Hmm.
have $200,000 laying around. I don't think
Right.
anyone does. But it's when you divide it, when you start doing the math, you work it backwards. Two million's the goal. I need to spend 200,000. Divide that by 12. You got someone who's probably better at math than I am.
We're
Uh,
marketers, not mathematicians.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure my calculator on my phone could tell me. But
Yep.
you start looking at it from a 12-month view, and you're like, okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. And then you take that and you break down your average ticket, and and then suddenly it's like I only need 18 jobs to pay for this.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
do you think that investing this into the right marketing could get you 18 jobs? Probably. Um, and so I think that's where when you break down the math for folks, that's when it gets a little bit easier to digest. But this is a problem a lot of contractors make, is that they don't have anyone guiding their strategy.
No.
And so they
Or
don't. So what do? They go on Facebook and they say, "What's everyone spending on marketing?" And then you get the people who say 3% max.
I've never had
2.5%.
to spend more than 5%. I built my business on shaking hands. And listen, listen, I could get riled up. I will get by the end of this, I will need a drink on Monday morning. But what I'll tell you is Eric is 100% right. Facebook really makes me want to hurt myself and others. But at the end of the day, people on Facebook are going to give you their truth, and their truth is not a lot of times your truth. So they're 100% right that you can grow your business really far by being a good person, doing referrals, and doing good work. You 1000% can grow it that way, and you should. You should be a good person offering good businesses or offering good business. But what I tell clients is that's how far you got with no marketing effort. Imagine where you would be if you would have invested in true marketing strategy 5 years ago, 20 years ago, where you would be
Yeah.
now. I can tell you this, if you have a strong marketing effort and good operational excellence, there's zero reason to be in business more than 2 or 3 years and be at $1 million.
Yeah.
If you're at $1 million and you've been in business more than 2 or 3 years, odds are it's a marketing problem. Or an operational problem. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's some combination thereof. I talked to 30-year-old companies that will tell me, I don't know what I've done wrong. I've been in business 30 years and I'm going to do $2 million. And I tell them when McWilliams, when my family, when we open a new location, we're doing $2 million in 20 months.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's got to be a common factor here. And again, I just think so much of it, Eric, is from contractors don't know who to trust, and they're very afraid of vendors. They feel like,
Yeah.
especially digital vendors, they feel like y'all are tricking them, you're lying to
Yeah.
them,
We
and
are.
yeah, it's a big scheme. I did
Yeah.
have a contractor yesterday. So like yesterday in one of the Facebook feeds, there was a digital company really getting hammered. I mean, they were just coming for
Yeah.
him, right? We've been paying, we hadn't been getting it. And literally I was like, I have 5 clients with that particular digital vendor that are killing the game, growing, everything worked out well. And I'm like, man, yes, they might have done some things wrong. So has Lemon Seed, probably so has Rival, so has everybody. But I'm like, gosh, it is crazy to me the amount of people that come out of the woodwork to just like blast a company, like name names. You should be naming names. I'm all for transparency. But I tell clients all the time, I work with numerous digital partners, and I'm like, hey, here are the ones that have a proven track record. You're not going to love every one of them. They're not all going to be
Yeah.
your style. So I want it, for instance, let me introduce you to Eric and his team over at Rival Digital. And they may interview with you and be like, we love them. Or they might be, oh, I really want someone a lot more aggressive. Okay, well, Eric is not aggressive. Eric's team's pretty chill and laid back. So, or they have no digital presence at all right now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this might overwhelm you, right? So there's a place for all these digital vendors, and we have some really good ones in our
Yeah.
industry, but we also have some shady pants things that go on.
Oh, yeah. Another thing, kind of going back to that Facebook thread, I saw that and I was reading it, and I think a mistake that a lot of contractors make is getting on those groups and taking what one person said. And by the way, the person posted it anonymously,
Anonymously. Yep.
so they take one anonymous person's truth and they make that the truth that they're going to believe about someone. And but that that's only one side of the story,
Hmm.
and you know so I think that's a challenge that people make is they'll read something on Facebook, good or bad. Sometimes they read a good thing and they're just like, oh, well, they got a good review from this one person. That must mean that you're the best. Or they'll say, oh, you had one person upset, you must suck.
Yes.
Instead of just finding out for themselves, because someone who might say that we're good, we might not be a fit for the next person in line, or someone that said we suck. Maybe that was just a bad fit, and the next person in line is a great fit, and we would do great for them. So I think there's a lot of folks. I think that Facebook has made it really challenging for people to think for themselves,
Mm.
and they just want to go get the answers really quickly from everyone else. Because, like, I guarantee you, on the other side of that post, I guarantee you there was client delays, there was client
Uh,
feedback, there was
mm.
edits, there was no photos, there was. I guarantee you that wasn't just the only side of the story, especially since they posted it anonymously.
Yeah.
I'm not buying. I'm not really buying
Well,
that,
and
but
like Joe Strip Matter, he's like, I thought we graduated from high school. I agree. Like, and
yeah.
I think that's part of my issue is like, here's what I think those groups are really good for. I think those are good for just a sense of community. Like, does anyone have a thought about this? What I don't like them for is true vendor recommendation, because
Yeah.
it's so cloudy, right? It's just so cloudy and so things. So I wrote down, we've already listed 2 mistakes. Number 1, no strategy behind what you're doing. You can have a plan of who you're going to use, but you really need a strategy about how all of it works together.
Hmm.
Right? So, strategy meaning all your advertising tactics need to work together to further your company. That's number 1. Number 2, Facebook being just your only source of truth, right?
Yeah.
Just it's noisy. That's right. Riley from
Yeah, it's
LCS and
noisy.
Indies, like
Yeah.
it's super noisy. And Riley made another comment on here. There's a number of 50-year-old companies in our market that don't care to do the work. I say this a lot of times if I am speaking at a conference or any podcast or whatever I'm doing, I will say this. I could stand on a stage and tell contractors exactly how to grow their company, and they will walk out of the room and be like, I'm not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. And so I'm not afraid to even give free advice. You probably aren't either. Like, I'll tell you exactly what to do, but they're not going to invest the time or the money or the resources to do what they need to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
They think it comes a lot easier than it really does.
Yeah. 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 And I think another thing, and this kind of aligns with strategy, but just every business is different and everyone's goals are different.
Mhm.
And so what worked for Riley might not work for Joe. And what
Right.
worked for you might not work for me. And so that's where it's like, it's so hard to get a source of truth for what's right for your business because everyone's business is different. The markets are different, the climate's different, the weather's different, the buying consumer behaviors are different.
Yes.
Your brand is different, your messaging's different, how you're perceived is different. Oh, but we're expecting this one financing company to be the silver bullet that both of us need, or we're expecting this one marketing company to be the silver bullet. There's no silver bullet, and so that's why I can't like emphasize it enough for folks these days when they're reaching out. I'm like, don't just talk to us. Like,
Mhm.
please go talk to 3 or 4 others. And if they don't have goals for their business, then don't talk to us at all because I'm not coming up with your goals for you. I'm not coming up with your strategy for you. Like for your overall business, that is, we can
Yeah.
come up with a digital strategy, but I'm not coming up with your business goals for you. Like that is not my
Yes.
job. That is your job as the owner. Do not delegate that on me.
Listen, a part of onboarding with Lemon Seed is we do this comprehensive audit. And so I use this analogy all the time. Like when you go to the doctor, right, to go sit down, you don't just go into the examination room and the doctor walk in and be like, "All right, here is your prescription for diabetes medicine," right? They have to actually do an examination. So we say we need to examine everything that you're currently doing, the landscape of your market, everything that we can. So this is what we're going to do, blah blah blah. So I'm like, "What are your goals for next year?" And they'll anytime the contractor goes, "Well," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, period, sir. Like, you don't know,
Yeah.
ma'am. You don't know. You don't know yet." And so then I will get on the call. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I call them young bucks. These young guys that are more business savvy, they will get on a call and be like, I'm trying to grow by 20%. Right now, my average install ticket is $18,000. I think I'm bringing in a coaching team. I'm hoping to get it up to 21. And I'm like, okay, these are the people that I can ride with, right? Because I can handle your marketing strategy. My team can build your strategy all the way from your branding, just overall branding and your market community involvement, social media, email marketing, down to your existing customers, all the way to new customer generation with the perfect set of vendors. But my Lord, I can't help you if you're just sitting back and like you're not going to hold anybody accountable. And it's wild to me the people that don't know their numbers. And I will say this, HVAC and plumbers are miles ahead of other industries. Because as we started working with a few other industries that just came to us naturally, like through same owner, like opened to HVAC, like opened a garage door or opened to roofing, open pest control, whatever. I've learned that those industries are pretty far ahead of these others. But like pest control, for example, my first interview with a pest control company, which I knew all these things. My sister specifically had done all this research to know expectations of average tickets and things like that. Well, I got on the phone and this guy says, I don't really believe in all that Big Brother stuff. So I was like, excuse me?
No.
Big Brother is worried about your average ticket on roach treatments? I don't know that anyone cares this
Yeah.
much. But it was just a a tool that they were using to deflect from not knowing what their
Yeah.
actual numbers are and what their business was. So I did write down the third one. A third mistake that we think people make is budget spend. And of course, budget spend meaning, based off your goal. And the other one that we just mentioned is like, we can't know your business goals. Um, I do think that's dumb. I'll be honest. Like, dumb is such a hard word for me. Ugh. But because I tell my kids, don't call people dumb. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm calling what you're doing dumb here. So, guys, if you're listening to this and you cannot rattle off to me at least the basic KPIs, what is your revenue goals? How close are you to hitting them? That's where I tell you to go get a business coach.
Yeah.
You need a business coach. Lemon Seed can do a lot of things to mash up the marketing and the operations to see if we can help you identify problems. But like, we're not built to go in and identify deep rooted operational issues. Which same thing for
Yeah.
you, Eric. I know you and I've had a conversation before, and we shared a client one time, and both of us were like, we don't know whether to be depressed for this client because what they did was horrible. What they left both me and Eric in this blaze of glory and went to like this little new thing on the market, and both of us were like, this is going to be disastrous for them.
Hmm.
And then sure enough, 4 months later, the client's like, hey, can we talk about a strategy? And I'm like, for free? Like, for
Yeah.
free, you know? So, but I know
Hmm.
you see that going on a lot. So, what's another one, Eric? Do you have another one that popped into your head that you think contractors are doing to kind of bad mistakes they're making?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a common mistake. This is a mistake that I've seen happen twice, um, with clients that we've worked with, and that is hiring an internal marketing employee and then turning them into an overpaid CSR.
Oh,
Um, it's like, so if you're going to hire someone for marketing, you need to really think through it and fill in the gaps of like, or at least identify like what they're going to do. And even see if it makes sense to have like an internal person for like community marketing and stuff like that internally to kind of oversee, all your different partnerships. I've seen it twice now where someone has hired a marketing manager and then 3 months into it, they're
a
answering
dispatcher.
calls. I see him dispatching calls in Service Titan. I'm like, why is she dispatching calls in Service Titan? And it blows
We
my
needed
mind.
help. Well,
And again, I saw a post on Facebook. I mean, gosh, Facebook drives me nuts.
I know.
Um, I've gotten to the point now where I was telling someone this at Home Service Freedom. I've gotten to the point now with with social media and Facebook and all that stuff where if I don't physically see it with my own two eyes, I don't believe anything anymore. Like I
Yeah.
don't believe it unless I actually see it happen or I hear it said. Like I just don't believe it. So, anyways, that's a side rant. But I saw someone make a post anonymously, of course, and they were like, I just hired my first internal marketing person. What should their like KPIs and metrics be? And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Uh, it's like,
Here
okay, well, first off, what are they doing? Are they doing your social media? Are they handling your emails? Are they handling, Chirp? What? I can't create KPIs for you if I don't know what the person's doing.
Yeah, so I started as this position for my family's company. So my brother calls me in 2014. I got my degree in marketing from Stephen F. Austin here in Nacogdoches, Texas. Got my degree, went to work for Coca-Cola, our local Coca-Cola bottling plant. So I got to work with like Monster Energy and Dr. Pepper and Big Red and Coca-Cola. But I also had to work with things, for those of you that remember, Full Throttle Energy. I had to work with NOS Energy and Vitamin Water in East Texas. I had to work with some unique things.
Hmm.
So taught me a lot. So I was always having these conversations with my brother. Well, my dad had just bought into a marketing company, bought like signed up with a marketing company, and I was doing all of his content writing at the time. So this marketing company would say, "Hey, we need a newsletter. Write all of your content for me." So, to Joe's question here, what revenue? We were at $3 million when my brother called me and said, we're about to hit the gas, and I need somebody to come in and focus on building our brand, organizing our marketing strategy, like working through co op dollars, employee retention and recruitment, and just overall community involvement, which, fell under the brand. So, I came on to Lemon Seed, and not that I'm the sole person that drove McWilliams to the place that it got and is, but it was the combination of dedicated and intentional marketing from all facets, and I didn't get pulled all these different directions. So I'm like Riley here. Nobody wanted me on the phone. I would have been good on the phone, but honestly, your internal marketers, they should have if you do disc profile, right? To me, they either need to have a high I or maybe a C personality. It just depends on what you need. So I have a very high I and negligible C. Like C don't even
Yeah.
register on the crystal level there. But I knew that I could get us out in the community. I could be creative. I could do all these things. I could keep employees and recruit new ones. My brother and I created the Home Service Academy, where we were bringing people on green off the street, and getting them in their own van in 8 weeks, through
Mm.
putting the right people in the right places. And so that community market, the internal marketing position could be run the gamut, right? So
Yeah.
Riley, who's on the call here, does this for LCS out of Indy and works with Lemon Seed very closely. So what I love about Riley and what he does is he has his thumb on the pulse of LCS. Like he lives in it every single day. So when he's
Yeah.
communicating with Lemon Seed, he brings like the actuals to the table. Hey, we want to redo this. We want to do this. What do y'all think about this? And it's a great like collaborative relationship. But I have another contractor who has a CSR that they've delegated to be in charge of marketing. Now,
I don't
y'all,
know.
okay,
And
and
that's worse than making the marketing manager a CSR, in my opinion. Too.
oh,
That's even worse.
well, it's setting them up for failure. So
Yeah.
I ask the contractor every single time. So you're at whatever, 3 million, 2 million, whatever that is. So if you live like me in East Texas, internal marketers that are young, like out of school and just like really good personalities, very driven, they're pretty affordable because they're hungry for marketing roles, right? So they're
Yeah.
not, but they also are going to be very green. So you have to give them access to the vendors and they have to understand what they're doing and keep everything going. But internal marketers can really do a whole paradigm shift for you in your business, especially if you're looking for someone that intentionally every single day, their goal is brand awareness, employee recruitment and retention, brand loyalty, existing customers, answering reviews. I mean, listen, I can fill a whole day. When Renee got ready to hire Riley over there at LCS, she and I had long conversations about what was she really going to give up control over.
Yeah.
Like, are you really gonna give up control? Are you gonna, and it was a really good conversation. But to Eric's point here, like deciding that their job doesn't have enough value to where, okay, you know what? I need him to answer the phone. There's nothing wrong with being a CSR,
Yeah.
but that's not what they were hired to do. And so you need to let marketers be marketers if they're meant to be a marketer.
Yeah. This is a great conversation. I'm actually curious. I guess Riley probably knows, but then I'd also be curious, Crystal, on your take on this. Like, at what point do you feel it is appropriate to bring in like an in-house marketing director or marketing manager?
Yeah, so Joe Strickbetter actually asked that question. I do
Oh,
think,
yeah.
yeah, it's a good question. It is. Now Riley, so LCS was a little bit above this when they brought on Riley. But I'm telling you, $3 million. So I call them the humps, if you will. So that hump to get to 1 million, right? Like you're busting your butt to get to 1 million. And then that next hump that I think most contractors are trying to get to is 3, and then 5, and then 8, and then 10, like that, because you have to do different things to get over those humps, right? So that's why I
Yeah.
think when you're trying to go from 3 million to anything else, it's like you need intentional attention on everything. And as a contractor, that's why Lemon Seed uses this. We use two alliterations or two examples all the time. One is how full is your plate? So and so Joe is at 5 million. So as you can see, like it's in that wheelhouse there. So if your plate is full of everything, so you're trying to price equipment, you're trying to deal with benefits, you're trying to deal with training, as an owner, marketing is one of those things that if you're really good at it, then you need to offload something else, right? Hire a training manager. But you need to
Hmm.
look at your plate or the hats that you have on and decide where you actually, as an owner operator, where do you fit correctly? And where do you
Yeah.
want to fit? Now, I have some people that think they need to be the marketing, and I'm like, you're in your own way. Um, but to Joe's point, between 3 to 5 million is probably the sweet spot there because that's when it takes intentionality and that's when you need to do it.
Yeah.
Now, McWilliams, we have a little bit of a different strategy. anytime we open a new brick and mortar location, within the first year or so, oh, he said he should have done it sooner. Within the first year or so of being um open, we're hiring a community marketer. But
Oh
their
yeah.
sole job is, again, the employees at that brick and mortar that work there. We call it loving on them. Welcome to East Texas. Just, patting them on the back and doing good things for them, but also just go into the community and represent who we are as a company and as a family. And so, like, right now, there's like 5 of them. And people are like, 5? I'm like, 1 per brick and mortar for the most part. Unless it's really close to another brick and mortar and one person can kind of cover both areas. But if it has its own chamber, odds are we've got a person that's working that. But I
That's
love to
good.
talk this. And I'll be honest, a little sneak peek. Lemon Seed is launching some cool stuff in January around internal marketers. And so I hope everybody's going to kind of watch for that. Our conference is going to be coming up at the end of January, and we're going to be releasing some cool stuff that we're going to be doing. And internal marketers are really going to enjoy those. No, Joe, all of our community market, Joe asked, are those part-time employees? Ours are full-time employees. But again, this is not an overly, and when I say educated, marketing specific, a bunch of experience. These are most of the time just really connected people in the market that like to shake hands, kiss babies, pet dogs, and then they follow the marketing strategy that the marketing director puts out. So it's
Hmm.
more the marketing director is handling all branches for McWilliams and kind of letting them know what's coming up. Our community marketers are truly for culture and for brand awareness in the market. For sure.
That's good.
That's a good one, Eric.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
that is
Thought.
that's a tough one too. I always like wonder, and I feel like everyone has different answers or different takes on this, but I definitely tend to agree. I think that 3 to 5 million mark is a good one because I see a lot of folks get stuck in that 3 to 5 million mark. And so at some point in that, because you can get to you can get 0 to 3 million without an internal marketer. Heck, I've seen people get 0 to 3 without hiring a marketing agency.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people get 0 to 3 just by hustling and selling. Um,
So one of the
but yeah,
questions
like
we just got is, are the wages a part of the marketing? No, excuse me, y'all. Are the wages a part of the marketing spend? So I'm gonna tell you, this is also a very debatable question. What did you think about that question, Eric?
um,
Where would you put your wages of the marketing person?
that's that's a great question. I would yeah, I think I would put them towards marketing,
Yeah,
maybe towards the marketing budget.
yeah.
Because if I put them in overhead, like if I didn't put them in there, then I would be tempted to like have them answer the phones or
Yeah, yes,
or something
yes,
else. So if they're
yes.
a part of my marketing budget, then I'm going to make sure that like you know, come hell or high water, they're marketing for
Mhm,
the
mhm.
business.
Well, and if they're responsible for that budget and the performance, so that's why I say this job needs to be curated to what you're hiring them for, right? So it's
Sure.
very generic for you to say, "Oh, Crystal, what did you do?" What I did at McWilliams is probably even different than what Riley does at LCS. Honestly, it's a little different. And so for us, it was an overhead position, but I was an overhead position because mainly I was dealing with a multitude. So marketing was my main goal, but also was culture. So I helped with
Mm.
other things like recruitment and retaining and things like that. But what was funny is when we bought a car, a wrapped oh, what did I drive? A Nissan Rogue. We wrapped it. And he was like, "Hey, if we want to get another, like, I wanted to get a trailer." Long story. I was always asking for money. He was like, "That's got to come out of the marketing budget." So it was interesting how we kind of function that. But you're hiring someone just for marketing, it could definitely go into your marketing spend. But
Mhm.
again, most of you are going to be like, "Okay, well, I'm not spending enough. Now this whole person takes up all my marketing budget." Well, that won't
Yeah.
work. That won't work because this person is not a traditional lead gen most of the time. They're not an outbound dialer, right? They're
Yeah.
they're, organizing all of your vendors. They're talking through creative, like they're doing a lot of things. So it definitely could be a combination of things, just depending on what you actually write their job description to include. And so
Yeah.
I always think that's an important thing. One common thread that we've talked about today, I think is Look at Gail coming in there. If I put it into my marketing budget, I'd increase my percentage to revenue goal. Come on with it, Gail. Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's
Right?
good.
Yeah. So, one common thread that I've kind of heard today is, the intentionality and the definition of things. And so that's one of our biggest points here is context. Right. So I ask a lot of questions. So when you see people get on social media, this company grew by 150%. Okay. Yes. From 300,000 right
Yeah,
up. So they didn't grow 150% when they were at 10 million. Right. So you really have to put everything in context. So it's not that we don't want to celebrate the 150% growth. That is wonderful. Way to go. Keep going. But at the other side, like people are like, I'm doing something wrong. And I'm like, you're not. You're
yeah,
doing everything right. You're just your revenue is much higher. And so it's a lot harder. You're talking about millions. They're talking about $20,000.
yeah,
So they needed to sell one system. You need to sell 100, so it's
yeah,
drastically different. But for sure. So I love the conversation about the internal marketing budget, getting those spent. So just to really quick recap a little bit. Number one mistake we see, no strategy. The bunch of vendors doing a bunch of things, but no real strategy. Facebook being your source of truth. Let us all pray for that. The budget spend being less than, what is needed to hit your revenue goal. So I'm coming out of the gate with recommending an 8 to 10% spend and then 12 if you're really trying to grow off your goal. Eric made a good point, off your revenue goal, not what you did last year. Knowing your numbers. And listen, any of y'all that have been around this industry very long or in a part of a best practice group, they don't even let you out. You are in contractor prison until you start knowing those KPIs. So don't be that
hmm
guy, right? Don't be that girl. Know your KPIs. And then Eric brought up this internal marketer issue, overuse or underutilization of that role or lack of role clarity of
yeah,
what that role is intended to do. And then Joe Strip Matter, he brought up a good point of or someone asked, is it, oh, I'm sorry, Lauren Bailey asked, is this one of you asked, I'm so sorry, part-time. It was Joe. I see it now. Part-time. This definitely could be a part-time role. It's all about the intent and how you write it and how you clarify the role.
yeah,
And Lemon Seed works alongside internal marketers to help make sure they have a trusted source of collaboration and keeping their directions moving forward and a source of their marketing truth. We have no like Lemon Seed, I've prided myself on this. Now listen, I might change my mind at any point, but right now I have no let me use this word, allegiance. And that's partially true, but I will normally say these are 3 to 4 good digital vendors that we work with that our clients are seeing success with. And I try to let the contractor connect with who they feel is the right one for them because I might love this company for this type of contractor. And so Lemon Seed is designed to help people look up and look around. Like Service Nation, I feel like it's a buffet, right? So like here's a buffet of all these people that do great things. You look over here at Nextstar and they're like, this is the Nextstar way. Praxis, this is the Praxis way. And so there's some unique things that go on. Joe did bring up another good point here, and you should have a higher percentage rate if you're greenfielding a new location. That's what I mentioned to y'all earlier. I'm rolling 12% deep when we're opening a new on $1 million budget. And so a lot of people are before I've sold the first thing. That's also very people are like, well, I just need to get some leads in and then I'll have cash. The amount of people that start a business with no money also drives me nuts.
this could be section like mistake 4A is people starting a business and like I'm sorry, like I'll go out here and say it. I could start a business in any industry tomorrow and I could be a major problem for my competitors
Oh, I say that all the
because
time.
I could go start a chiropractor's office and I don't know anything. I would get a chiropractor and I would be a problem for the next chiropractor down the street. I could start a pest control company and I'd be a problem because the amount of people that start a business and then they say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go do this for me. And then they completely just get lazy on it. It
Yes.
drives me nuts. Look, there is in my phone. Let's go ahead. Let's look and see this right here. I have 8,500. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've merged them recently. I have 2,200 contacts in my phone. These aren't just random phone numbers that I've never. like those 2,200 contacts have gotten into my phone at some point because someone gave me their number. I would blast every single one of them and just be like, "Hey, remember me? We might not have talked in a while, but I started a new business, and it'd be cool if you'd support me. At the least, maybe like my Facebook page, and
Yeah.
I guarantee I could make $1 million the first year."
Oh, I'm telling you, my brother and I said this to someone the other day. I said, "Listen, once you learn the structure of marketing, you could go get the leads." Now, learning the operational backside of things is different, right? So, like
Hmm.
for the pest control company, for example, we're kind of doing double duty because we bought a company with a guy that's helping us guide through like the actual work of pest control. But listen, building a brand and getting leads is not going to be our issue.
Yeah,
And you come out of nowhere, but so many people start just broke, and I'm not hating on that. Like, there's a lot of power in coming, I was at the bottom, now I'm here kind of
yeah,
vibe, but it's the long road. It's the long
yeah,
road to go. And so if you can store up or if you can use your line of credit or whatever you're going to do to build an actual marketing strategy that is a combination of your brand and your digital and your socials and whatever else you're going to do, yard signs or billboards or radio, whatever it is, you will see how quickly you overtake the competition.
yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh yeah,
listen, in our local Facebook group the other day, this company got on there and they do inflatables, and they made a post blaming the community for not supporting them. And they're like, you guys, like, we knew this was a need, but y'all don't support us. And like, if y'all want us to stay in business. And I was like, do you not want to stay in business, ma'am? Like, this
yeah,
is the first time you've made a post on your page in 6 months. The name of your company is Backyard Inflatables. So I mean, which is the name of like all these other companies, and they get
yeah,
mad. They're like, y'all only use this other company because of who they are. And I'm like, no, go look at your web presence and your branding presence. This company donated 10 bouncy houses to our local like balloon. We had a little balloon festival. And so they had signs everywhere that they had donated these bouncy houses. Like you've not taken any opportunity. It is not the field of dreams. If you build it, they will not come only from that. They will
yeah,
not. You know,
yeah,
branding has to be a priority. And if you don't understand it, good news. People at Lemon Seed do, but
yeah,
they don't. Eric, I'm telling you, their hardest thing to do is write the check for a branding play. They're like, oh gosh, my leads just aren't coming in. And I'm like, listen, this is a long term strategy. We have a short term strategy. But yeah, that, and then we had a local company the other day posting like just the owner, and this is an HVAC company, gets on there and he's like, stop using the expensive guys and use me. I can get this. And people were commenting like, yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up. And I'm like, please don't ever tag me. How many
yeah,
times have y'all seen the Facebook post? Who's a good digital company? Who's a good branding company? And I'm like, Lord help me. Because they're going to say, that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg. Not me, sir.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
because what that is screaming to me is that that's not the clients that you want as an HVAC
yeah.
company. You want clients that want to invest in good products. Hardly any of
Yeah.
you on here sell janky products, but I'm telling you, I will get riled up about the importance of like you get what you pay for, but also just a good
Mhm.
understanding of building a brand and having money to build that brand up front. And if you have $0, I would be killing the social media game every single day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if I had yeah, I just think some people like I saw that post yesterday. I think you replied to my comment. The person was talking about imposter syndrome. And I
Yes.
was like, the only way out is through. Get off your ass. And sorry, I'm getting riled up. Like the only way out is through. Like you got to get up and just go force yourself. Go
Yep.
force yourself to like it until it happens. And it's like, yeah, if I got $0, I am getting up at 8 o'clock and I'm going to every single house or every single door that I can find, or I'm texting every single person that I know, or I'm going to go stand out in front of the Walmart with the Salvation Army ringing the bell at Christmas, but also handing out my business cards on the
Yep.
side.
Yep.
I'm going to be doing whatever it takes to get a contact. And some people just, they get imposter syndrome because they say, I'm a business owner, but then they don't do the steps necessary. They don't do the
Oh,
baseline requirements necessary. So then they feel like, well, I'm a fraud because I'm not actually running a real business. And
I
Um,
saw a quote the other day that said, "Your ambition is not gonna work harder for you than your hard work." And I was like,
mm,
"Your want to be the top company is not enough to get you to be the top company. You've gotta put in the work. You've
yeah,
gotta put it." That's why, like, I'm telling you, when community marketers come to work at McWilliams, I'm like, "Now listen, this job is not for the weak. Like, we're busy. We are washing tablecloths. We are making sure trucks are like, you're babysitting people, you're turning in deadlines. Like, it is busy in a whole different way because our job is to be where the people are, because
hmm,
that's how we build companies, right? That's how we build them literally. Another analogy that I like to use is this cake analogy. And so, like, my husband makes this delicious 7-Up cake, and it's so good, and everyone loves it. But if you were to ask me for a piece of that cake, I'm not going to hand you the cake flour that he uses. I'm not going to be like, here you go. Here's a cup of cake flour. It takes the flour and the eggs and the butter and the vanilla flavoring and the lime zest and all the cool things that he uses cooked together at perfection to come
yeah,
out with a solid. Then I can put all the icing and everything I want to put on top of it and make it beautiful
yeah,
even more. But at the end of the day, it's the same way when we're building a foundational company, is we have to make people know who we are. Then we can add on all kinds of cool stuff. Start doing direct mail and all those things. But at the end of the day, do people
yeah,
even know who you are or what you stand for?
yeah. And like, and within making that cake, you wouldn't. I don't think anyone would ever expect to think, well, I don't need the eggs right now. I can add the eggs later.
Hmm.
So I'll withhold the eggs for now. I'll just do the lemon. It's not going to come out the
Yeah.
same. It's the
Right.
same.
Right.
It's the same way when people, like people reach out. Well, I want a new website, but I don't need this. I don't
I don't
need
need
that.
SEO.
I don't need SEO right now, and I want to like so they'll start telling us like I need this or I do need this. I don't need that. I do need this. It's like, hey, do you want this 7-Up cake or do you want something different? Because if you want my 7-Up cake, you're getting the eggs. I'm putting the eggs in the butter
Yep.
and all the different things inside of it to make sure that you get this cake.
Yeah,
Uh,
I that's so funny. I was talking to this client the other day, and we were getting ready to rebrand them. So, we have all these brands that we're doing right now. Our branding side of our business is really taking off, and we were looking through some stuff, and I was like, "Okay, this is what we do next." And he's like, "Well, I think I'm just going to hold on to it for a little bit, and then I'll launch it like maybe in January." So I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "So just so you know, what we are going to do between now and January is we're going to continue to build a brand that you're about to get rid of."
yeah,
So we're gonna spend a lot of money. Like, we need to be changed. We need to let your website company know. We need to change all the graphics inside of Service Titan. We need to do all these things, but you want to wait till January, and not even for a good reason. Like, not for a reason that was in my world valid. Like, there was just, and I'm like, you're getting off course here. Or they only, this is the crazy things. I want a new brand, but I don't want to really wrap all my vehicles. I'm going to wrap one vehicle. So I'm like, okay. And you're going to drive around with this janky logo for a while and not the new ones, right? So that's another one. So I wrote down the seventh mistake that we see people making is that syndrome holding you back, but also like not trusting. I call it the magic sauce.
yeah,
Your contractors, like, or your vendors, contractors not trusting the vendor's secret sauce to what makes their product good. They want to pick and choose what they want. So not trusting the secret sauce. Because listen, Rival has a secret sauce, what they do specifically that helps their clients. And you might go to the next one and their secret sauce is different. I'm going to ask one
mhm.
more question before we get off, because it's a very hot topic. I'm actually doing a webinar in a couple of weeks about this. Um, I want to just mention, because I can't help it, AI and what do we feel like we should be doing as contractors right now?
I love AI.
This is so me and you can both get canceled somehow.
AI was such a good basketball player. It was truly a shame that AI's career. Okay. Oh, we're not talking about Allen Iverson. Okay.
That would be an easier topic.
Yeah. 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 AI was a great basketball player, though. When I was a kid, AI, we were talking about Allen Iverson, and now it's everything else. I hope that someone watching this appreciated that joke,
Yes,
because I've been holding on to that one for a while. So
I'll
let
make
me
sure to
know
highlight it. I'll highlight it.
let me know how I did down in the comments. Um, I think that AI should multiply efforts, not replace them.
Oh,
And I
love
think
it.
that a lot of people are they're trying to force a square peg into a round hole with AI, where they're like, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And they're trying to force it to replace things rather than using it to just multiply what they're already doing and make them more efficient. Um, and so when folks say, how can I be using AI? The answer is usually, I don't know, because there's probably different areas of your business that you could be using it for that you're not. I think using it for phones, as long as there's some type of voice greeting that lets them know they're talking to AI, I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, especially after hours. Um, like I think that that alone, like that small thing right there, opens up so much opportunity for contractors to have some type of after hours like voice assistant
Mhm.
for answering the phones. Now you can answer the phones 24/7 on LSA. Now you can answer them, 24/7 on GBP, because we know that the map pack is not going to show you if your hours are closed. I mean, they might, but it's very unlikely. So that alone could be like a great first step for folks. But I think, finding the things where you're not efficient and then complementing it with AI, but continuing to use your human brain for stuff um, is what I would recommend for most folks. It's tough because it's different for everyone.
Yes, 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 I agree. So, this is what I've learned. And listen, I love maybe I'm the odd man out, but I love the conversation that's going on with AI right now because I think it just makes everybody at least think through it. So, kudos to those who have bought in and are going, excuse my language, are like balls to the wall, right? So,
Mhm.
kudos to those people that are like running with it. And then kudos to the people that I love this statement. Like I wrote it down, like multiplying our efforts, not replacing our efforts. So, I actually really enjoy the friendly banter. Now, people get super hateful, but the friendly banter of, listen, at the end of the day, do I think AI is coming? Oh, it's here. It's not coming. It's here. And I do think that we will have to adapt, hope
Mhm.
probably sooner than later of utilizing it better. But I also think that sometimes it's a little scary and overwhelming to the average person. And so sometimes you can slide too hard and get detrimental to like then people are just going to shut down anyway. But a couple of things that I wrote down, love the phones things, but those of you that are just trying to figure out how to use it in your business, there is a difference in artificial intelligence and automations.
Yeah.
Okay. Automations like, the making sure that things are happening without a human having to trigger things, that's automation. That's not necessarily AI. And so that's a unique thing. Or partnering AI with automations is like super cool too. But to your points, like quick speed to lead style things, like knowing that you're automatically going to send a text or you're going to answer all these leads, you're going to respond to reviews. There's some cool things out there right now that honestly are so tasky, it's my word, that
Mhm.
they literally are taking those things off of your plate so that you can do more impactful things for your business. That's where I love
Yeah.
AI. For those of you that are content creators, like even creating slideshows, helping you with social media content, helping you with email content, those are great. But I don't know about you, Eric. I can identify a Chat GPT written email is
Immediately.
crazy. Joe just mentioned on
Yeah.
here ordering equipment when it's sold, taking away tasks. So
Yeah.
again, these are the more advanced you get with the automations and the AI side of this happens, then I want this to happen like this. That's where you can start getting behind people that are doing task driven automations about definitely moving the needle off of task driven things that maybe opens up time for an install coordinator or a CSR or a dispatcher. And then Chuck just came on here and said, what's your thoughts about getting prices online, like contractor commerce?
Love it. I think
So
everyone should be doing it.
I do too. So, Chuck, I'm going to give you this thought that I have about this. So right now, again, if you're not this type of adopter, this may not resonate with you. But one of the things I just read, and Eric's maybe he can correct me, but I saw where people were saying when people say, "What's the average cost of an HVAC of a new heating and air conditioning systems in East Texas?" Right? If you have pricing on your website now, from what I read, you actually have pricing. It's showing that you can actually answer the question. So, Google's actually utilizing just you having those, even those basic prices on your site, as being able to answer the question. So it's reading well or crawling well. But
Mhm.
the biggest mistakes that I see people making is they launch Contractor Commerce specifically. Fantastic company, Lisa and her team over there with Paul, wonderful people at Contractor Commerce. But people just launch it and then they never do anything with it.
Yeah.
So they never drive, like, they don't use it on social media, like, click here, thinking about getting a new system, click here to see what your pricing is, or using it to sell filters or memberships or anything like that. And like Stephanie Postel over at Anchor, they did some cool stuff with Contractor Commerce on like some actual like coupon style stuff.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that from a digital perspective for sure?
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of folks need to realize that contractor commerce and any of these other ones in and of itself does not drive leads to your business. You still have to drive the lead to the website, and but if you have that pricing transparency online in your marketing and your messaging, it just removes a barrier. And so, kind of to Joe's point earlier about taking away a task from someone else, think about if the person goes online to get the price and then they book the call, there's no price objection at that point. They already know what they're getting themselves into, from a pricing perspective. So it makes the leads, maybe the leads that you get through a tool like that are less, but the qualification and the quality of those leads are much higher.
Yeah.
Um, and I was actually thinking about this on the flight home from Home Service Freedom earlier, or towards the end of last week on Friday. Um, I remember in 2019 when the thought of online scheduling was just the craziest thought in the world. I remember I met Schedule Engine in 2020 and I was like, this is brilliant. And then I was like talking to clients about it, and our clients were like, no, I would never want someone to be able to book their own service online. Like,
Yes.
and there was so much pushback, but now that conversation is not happening anymore. It's just like um, if I have a website, I need an online scheduler. Like,
Mhm.
it's a part. It's just like almost needing like having a contact form.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you got to have a scheduler. But 4 or 5 years ago, it was the most polarizing topic in the trades. Was like, do I
Yeah.
have a scheduler or do I don't? And I feel like
Well,
we're facing that same thing right now with pricing, with online pricing.
yes, yes, and I'll be honest, like, you sit back and now you think, "Why would we not adapt ourselves to be able to allow online scheduling?" I still deal with contractors who are like, "Online scheduling," like, "Well, what do I do?" And I'm like, "You freaking run the call. You run
Yeah,
the call. You let them book, and then you go figure out your job is to figure out how you can service that client. You are not doing people a favor by servicing their air conditioner. You need to switch your brain. You are
yeah,
thankful for every lead that comes through. Book the lead. Book it
yeah,
and then figure it out. And then Joe brings up a good point about online pricing. So, Eric, I love this idea. Like, this should not be as hard as it is for contractors to, they're just given so much noise. Like, to Chuck's point, there's so much noise out there. There's ways to protect yourselves on there by saying, like, so in East Texas, right? So we're trying to get up in an attic. So what if it's difficult access? Right. So what do we do? What the client doesn't know? What if they undersize their home? What if they need duct work? What if they need, okay, then you put on there the caveat upon inspection,
yeah,
upon verification, right? And then listen, worst case scenario is you sell a system online and then again you go figure it out by saying, hey, now that we've looked, you see how we can't get an indoor unit up these stairs into your attic? I'm gonna have to cut a hole, or I'm gonna have to do this.
yeah,
Did you know that you can also roll this new ductwork into your financing, right? So this is opportunities. We're looking for opportunities, and so anything that is reaching, in my opinion, anything that is reaching different audiences for you. So online scheduling, online buying, things like that. I would be all over, and then I'll figure it out on the backside.
yeah, yeah. And I always say consumer ignorance causes commoditization. So if they don't find the pricing from you, they're going to find the pricing from Angie's List
Mm.
or Home Advisor, or worse, they're going to go find the pricing on Walmart or Home Depot.
Amazon.
They're going to go say, well, why is it $3,500 for this 40-gallon water heater? I can get it at Home Depot for $600.
Mm, mm.
Well, Angie's List told me the average HVAC replacement is $6,500. Why are you $18,500? So if you're not educating the people, then ChatGPT is going to educate them based on whatever they can find. Same with Google;
Yeah.
they're going to educate them based on what they can find, and I don't think anyone's going to like the results of that.
Yeah, no, no. I put up Gail's comment here on the screen. You add a disclaimer that it's an estimate only based on information provided and must be confirmed on site. And then you book the selling tech or comfort advisor to go out there. Like, again, this is number one for online selling. We have to tell people, right? Because the action of actually having it on your website does not really, it is, what's the word I want to use here, Eric? It is good for people searching those things. You want to have it on your website. But as far as driving people to your site, you have to talk about it somewhere and
Yeah,
drive people, to that section. Social media is the easiest thing to use and link it there, doing some unique, like solve a problem for the homeowner and then say, hey, if you want to no click here, without being overly salesy. But, you know, Gail, I know Gail, and she does a great job at what she does because she's managing multiple locations and multiple, different markets and things like that. But at the end of the day, like there are some things that would work in any market. You just have to have the right strategy and implementation plan around that. So love the online pricing. Love it. Just work through it and utilize your vendor partner to really help you there. So we can
yeah.
take one more question and then because we already been on here an hour, I told y'all we could talk for
Oh yeah,
an undefined amount of time. So if there's any more questions, got another minute or two to drop a question in the chat for us to look at. And Joe said to Eric's point, that's why we have to adopt AI in our business. We have to try to be more affordable. I do think that pricing is going to become more and more of a deciding factor because honestly, and I just think that there are more contractors picking up on how to used to. So back in 2014, we were one of the only people with wrapped vans. We were one of the only people with a optimized website, one of the only people with online booking. Well, now as that becomes the norm, you have to pivot in other ways. And so now maybe it's
yeah,
AI and being quicker or whatever that looks like for you. So while I'm waiting to see if there's any more questions, I'm going to go over these. We ended up with 9 things. Number 1, no strategy. Number 2, Facebook is your source of truth. Number 3, budget spend not enough, most of you. Number 4, knowing your KPIs. Number 5, internal marketers, how you overuse or underutilize them in the right roles, role clarity for them. Starting a business and not having the cash or trying to go to the next level and not figuring out how to pay for it. Imposter syndrome holding you back from actually growing your business because the only way to get over it is to go through it. I think that's your comment, right, Eric?
yeah.
Right? And
Absolutely.
then not trusting the secret sauce of your vendors and trying to pick and choose what you use with them. And then AI, like multiply your efforts, not really replace something potentially. But at least I think we need to start paying attention to what's going on and utilizing it for things to help us become more efficient. And in turn, that gives us more opportunities to affect our gross margins and how we're going to market. So guys,
Yeah.
Eric, one more time. If people wanted to get in contact with you, Eric, what's the best way to reach out to you at Rival Digital?
They can connect with me here on Facebook. Just Eric Thomas on Facebook or rivaldigital.com. Yeah,
Yep.
either way is perfectly cool. I hang out on Facebook probably more than I should. So like I feel like it's like it stays up on like this side like laptop over here. So
Yeah,
if you
gotcha.
message me at any point in the day, there's a good chance I'm going to message you back. So
Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah.
And then,
Yep.
of course, Lemon Seed Marketing, we can help you build a brand. We can help you
Hmm.
build social media plans. We can help you build a strategy. Strategies are one of our favorite things to do. Is how do we help you bring all of your marketing budget together to really drive the company forward? So, thanks to all of you that joined us. Eric and I loved being able to have a reason to get on the call and talk today. So, we hope
Yeah.
everyone has a good day. Thanks for sipping lemonade with us and Rival Digital. We'll talk soon.
Red
No Red
Robin.
Robin. Absolutely not Joe
Yum.
Strip Matter. Bye, guys. Everybody have a good
You
day.
guys. See ya. Bye.